Anodyne. I don't actually know what the word anodyne means. Let's phonetics it out. Anodyne. Ano. It sounds like fancy cutlery. Perhaps a plate of some sort. Okay. Mysterious voice. Hello? Young?
Not likely to provoke dissent or offense.
Oh, you can hear me?
Often deliberately so.
Not likely to provoke dissent or offense. Inoffensive. It's a form of pacifism. Being passive. Maybe not pacifism. Interesting. It's a synonym of fence-sitter. And for anyone just getting here, this game's compared to early Zelda. I would have thought I would have seen, like, Undertale comparisons, but this actually came out before Undertale, interestingly. You'll press the C key to interact with objects. That might be tricky because I'm on an Xbox controller, but I can figure it out. And again, I really don't know much about this game, so we're gonna find out. That is a map. There is writing scrawled on this rock. So, I gotta admit, I'm a little sad. Because AWACON ended on the 30th, so a lot of people were dressed for Halloween. And I almost went the last day of this convention in my Weezer Snuggie. But I kind of chickened out at the... I didn't chicken out, it was just kind of warm, and I didn't want to walk around with a Snuggie all day. But if you're curious what my Halloween costume was, it was a Weezer Snuggie with a belt around it, so it didn't drag on the floor like a kimono. Greetings, young. I am Sage, the village elder. You have been summoned here because the darkness has spread across the land. The darkness seeks the legendary Briar. To use the Briar's power for evil, you must reach it first. You must protect the Briar. Okay. I don't expect the, quote-unquote, self-aware mechanic to appear during the actual game, so if that's something you're curious about, I believe that's not going to happen until I beat the game in, like, 3 hours. Where the hell do you get a Weezer Snuggie? eBay! And there was only one when I looked. So I don't even know now. I don't have a sword. I also went to a concert at AWACON. Sort of a concert. They have a indoor venue. And it was sort of these two idol figures. These two women singing, you know, really poppy songs. There it is. And it was interesting. It was a fun concert. I didn't recognize anything they did, but they did play Fighting Dreamers, the Naruto OP. And the crowd went wild when they started singing that. Now, keep in mind, they sort of sung a K-pop version of Fighting Dreamers. The original song is very, J-rock. And, you know, I think I still got a soft spot for the original. But it was a welcomed cover. Also, thanks, Sephi, for gifting the 5 subs. And Richard for subbing. Thank you. Play the whole game without killing an enemy. Well, can I restart? You know, it would be interesting if Anodyne had a pacifism mechanic. I mean, I guess that is literally the name of the game. Yeah. Yeah, I don't usually come up to the... I don't show up to these streams with crazy stories of how my week's been, but I will say I got complimented for my shirt twice this week at the same store, by the same guy, incidentally. And it, like, tripled my self-confidence in my fashion. And I don't think he was hitting on me or anything. It was just some dude that worked at Publix. I don't think he was flirting with me. So I'm going to Publix. I'm in the fresh market picking up some sour cream donuts. And sometimes I'll go to the thrift store and just look for cool shirts. So I have this pretty sick sort of blue and dark blue and orange striped sweater. And everything else I was wearing did not matter. I had fucking jogger pants on. But this dude walks up behind me that works at Publix and he goes, "Bro, that is some sick drip." I'm not even paraphrasing. Word for word, he goes, "Dude, that is sick drip." And I just turn around like, oh, okay. Thanks, man. Yeah, I go thrift store shopping. And he didn't, like, stay for a conversation. He just gave me a thumbs up and kept walking. 100% flirting? Okay, so that's the first encounter with this guy. 3 or 4 days later, after AWACon, I'm coming home, I'm buying, like, I'm just buying a pizza. Because I didn't feel like cooking after AWA. And I'm wearing a different sweater this time. This one is a tritone sweater with, like, sort of a cream, a green, and a light gray. A tritone. And I'm walking to my car in the middle of a parking lot. And from the other side of the parking lot, I hear the rolling of wheels and a voice yelling, "Hey! You that guy from last week? With the cool sweater?" And I turn my head. It's the same Publix worker pushing all of the carts back to the front of the store. And he's doing like a very aggressive point at me. And he goes, "Dude, that's a sick shirt too!" And then he just keeps walking. He doesn't say anything else. That's all he says. And, you know, I waved to him with a, you know, I got a big smile on my face because I just got 2 compliments this week. NPC? I think that's a derogatory term. It just, you know, it made me realize there's 2 types of people in this world. People with cool shirts and people who compliment people with cool shirts. I guess that's just as derogatory as the NPC thing. But, yeah. That made me feel way better about my fashion. And I'm sorry if I'm humble bragging at this point, but I've actually had all my winter clothes in a box, in a container. And it's finally getting cold enough that I can wear them. But for the first time in my life, this summer was when I started, like, going to the gym and running. And when I pulled out the winter clothes, 70% of them are baggy now. Like, they don't fit well at all. But 2 of the shirts that did were the navy blue stripe one and the green tritone one. So the 2 shirts I had that still fit well are ones I got compliments on. Which, it made me feel like all of my daily suffering on the treadmill is worth it. I'm not buff. To be clear, still very much dad bod. But some of that baby fat in the cheeks are going away. In order to make it through this temple alive, you will need both strength and intellect. And I assume that by this point you have found a weapon. I mean, yes, of course, a broom. Just as was foretold in the legend. I've seen a broom in a legend. It was on the map of a janitor closet. Have you ever used Steam Achievement Manager? I'd say yeah, but then I'd be implying that I unlocked the Black Rose by actually playing that godforsaken game. Yeah, I use Sam. The only time I used Steam Achievement Manager was to get TF2 items from games that, like, were borderline unplayable. Back when they actually did promotional items. There was this realistic shooter game where if you played it, and I don't know, you had to play like 5 matches, you would get a spy knife in TF2. The problem was the game wasn't populated. It wasn't fun. And I don't even remember what it was named. So I just Steam Achievement Managed it. I just lied to Steam and said that I got the achievement I needed. I did get the Spiral Knights helmet legally. Like, I actually played Spiral Knights and earned that. Same with all of the Poker Night at the Inventory items. Which, by the way, rip to a great franchise. Peripheral Vision is the hive of demons. What are you talking about? I was talking about the Black Rose, the spy knife. Oh. Yeah, this really is OG Zelda. Did you play World of Horror recently? Oh, you just reminded me, Attack Team. Yeah, World of Horror got its yearly Halloween update. They added like 1 new mission and a couple items and encounters. You know, I still think World of Horror is a fantastic game. It bums me out a little bit that the dev seems to sort of be hands-off with it. Oh, I can create cover. I see. I get the mechanic now. I haven't played it yet. To answer your question, I still need to play World of Horror's update. The dev apparently is also a pretty shitty dude. I don't know the details, but if it's true, that's unfortunate. They make a great game. Would you say they're a World of Horror to be around? Hee hee. Doink. It sent me back pretty far. I guess I misunderstood. I thought the checkpoint thing was also a save. But not on death. I'm trying to remember. There was something funny that happened at AWACON, but I'm totally blanking on it right now. I will say, I'm happy that we're finally at a point where vegan tacos don't taste terrible. Usually when I go to a con, I like bring granola bars or something. You know, just sustenance. But I didn't do that this time, so I had to go to the food trucks, and every one of them had an endless line of 20 people, except for this vegan taco truck. And I pretty reluctantly was like, alright, see how it is. And they had jackfruit, which I don't even know what jackfruit is. Vegan crumbles and some sort of a Philly cheesesteak alternative. I didn't care much for the cheesesteak alternative. It wasn't bad, but it was like too much. You ever had like a meal that just overwhelms you? That overwhelmed me, but the jackfruit and the vegan crumbles, God, I had to fight myself from going back for seconds. And historically, every time I've gone to a vegan taco truck, it's been trash. Any good cosplays there? I didn't really sightsee. I hung out with people that were in TF2 cosplays. Fella named Hamilton was dressed as a anger sniper, which I found funny. I guess they were like giving out, what's that kid from Spy Family? Anya. They were handing out Anya masks, so everybody had Anya masks there. Surprisingly, there wasn't like a TF2 spy with an Anya mask. That would have been funny. Yeah, I'm happy that conventions are running again, but it's still taking a while for interesting panels to come back. DragonCon and AWOCon, there were just so many, I don't know. I will never knock on anybody that is willing to host a panel, because that takes so much confidence. I mean, as ironic as it is, even I have stage fright, and trying to do something like that terrifies me. It doesn't terrify me, but unnerves me. But a lot of the panels are... I don't know. 70% of panels you find at stuff like that are like... Why were animes in the 70s so racist? Top 10 moments that didn't age well in, my. It's very, like, hyper-specific stuff. I'm into the panels where it's like a game dev talks about the process of making something. Or, you know, voice actors talking about their experience working on a project. One of my favorite all-time panels was one with the voice actor for Azula and Zuko, where Azula made a joke about getting impregnated by her brother. And I was front row for that. One of the most memorable panels I've ever been in. I guess that's just as bad as the bad examples I gave you earlier. It was real, by the way. But goddamn was it memorable. Oh, I'm all out of dirt. Okay, bat. Still haven't quite seen the psychedelic part of this game, but I like brooms, I'm invested. I see a few doors. I feel bad for the person who broke their back at TwitchCon. Yeah. I heard, some more stuff came out about it. I don't want to repeat misinformation, but apparently the lawsuit is elevated because that back break complicated some other concerns that they had. Yeah, I mean, it's the first time a ball pit ever went wrong at a convention. So, who knows how the world will react now. Once a man came and installed a mirror in our bathroom. I was afraid that there was a hidden camera inside of it. I scoured every inch of the wooden frame, spraying Murphy's oil soap into the cracks, thinking I might short-circuit the wires. Of course, I never found anything. Okay. What was the foam ball pit? Not foam ball. The ball pit where someone peed in it? Was that like the... Was that like BronyCon? That was like... I thought that would be my only ever... Oh, DashCon. Oh, okay. I thought that would be my only ever association of like... a pit going wrong at a con, but it happened twice. Tumblr DashCon. Ah. I have to find 4 cards. Well, 3 more. Huh. Rock? Come back to rock. You know, just for fun, I Google searched the other day, top 10 most famous Godot games. And I didn't recognize a single one on the lists. Which I thought was kind of sad. Like, I don't really have any interest in learning Godot, but I figured there would be at least one famous Godot game, right? A game built on that engine. Nothing. Not a single household name. That's not to say, like, there aren't good games made on Godot, just widely recognized. You would think even RPG Maker has accomplished a few of those. I like Godot. I mean, Godot seems underrated for a certain type of pixel art or, you know, low poly game, is what I hear. Let's see. Does it fall? It don't fall. Cruelty Squad? Was Cruelty Squad made on Godot? Okay, I guess there's one example then. I recognize Cruelty Squad. Huh. Well, good for that. Supposedly the console support isn't super great for Godot. I know there are a few Switch games built on Godot, but you don't really see Godot Xbox or PS4 games, do you? And again, not trying to knock or talk shit on Godot, just an observation. Okay, it does save my cards. Have I watched the new Nathan Fielder show? I have. My question for you is, did you see someone who dressed up as sexy Nathan Fielder for Halloween? It was Nathan Fielder with the laptop holster, but with leggings. peak Halloween this year. You know what I've had an urge for? I really don't have any need for a Steam Deck. Like, I don't really travel enough to need one. Most games I just rather play on PC. But I've had this really specific urge to play Pokemon Crystal Clear, and that doesn't sound as fun to me on PC. But it sounds like it would be really fun to play on a Steam Deck. And when I had that urge, I finally understood what makes Steam Deck such a great sort of emulator game. I'm sorry I'm running in circles, by the way. I know what I need to do, I just don't know where these other cards are, so I'm rounding back. But yeah, there's this ROM hack of Pokemon Crystal that makes it an open world game, along with a bunch of other changes. And like, now and then I have this urge to play Pokemon Crystal, but not the urge to play it on like a TV screen. And the reason I concluded Steam Deck was because I was looking up how hard is it to mount a ROM onto a GBA cartridge. So like, if I get a GBA cartridge or a, you know, a blank one, how hard would it be to get a modded game onto it? And it's not that it's like intensely difficult, but it's that there's not a lot of resources for that. Like, there was some modular GBA cartridge that was supposed to be really easy to pop a USB in and, you know, drop a ROM onto it, but I couldn't find them for sale. There are tutorials on how to put a custom ROM onto an existing cartridge, but, you know, it's not super intuitive. And a lot of them sort of require ripping out the insides of your cartridge and screwing it back together, which is admittedly a little daunting. I know it's not super complex, but basically there's not a service where you can just pay them 20 bucks to give you a custom ROM, which is what I was looking for. And although it would be fun, I kind of decided, would it just be more fun to play a Pokemon ROM on a Steam Deck? Would that kind of hit the urge for me? Where do I live? I live in Georgia, in the United States. There are some services, but they seem to be overseas. Damn. I guess the card must be in there. There's probably something like that. I agree. I think it exists, but I couldn't find it. I also went down this hole of trying to find a cartridge that just let you make... that let you program music on the GBA. I really love the sound font that's on the original GBA, just Game Boy games. But there was never like an official public release of like how to program games on it, I don't think. But people have made programs that let you essentially, you know, program music on your GBA. It's on sort of my wish list of stuff to buy when I just have days to kill. Has anyone here played Anodyne? You want to play a game of Hot and Cold with me? Let's assume I only have one card and I don't know at all where the other three are. Where would one start off? Install Gen 2? I recognize that. Yeah, I know there are some programs. There are obviously ways to emulate it on computer. Part of it part of the rabbit hole for me is the novelty of doing it on an actual Game Boy. Like, there are ways to just get a GBA sound font, plug it into Ableton synthesizer, no, sampler, and get an approximation of that sound. Do I want a tip? Yeah, I want a tip. Very cold. Oh yeah, it was my dog's birthday in between streams. My boxer turned 10. Took him to Brewster's and got him a pup cup. Just thought you should know that. 10 is really old for boxers, but he's surprisingly still pretty spruce. Yeah, I'm happy on the days I walk him where he seems to want to, like, still do a proper sprint. Without getting too deep into it, some of my older family pets, I didn't really have the chance with them in their final years to, I don't know, really pay them tribute. Like, take them out every day, that kind of thing. When my cat and my former dog passed, I was not living at home at a condo. So, with Augie, I'm really trying to consistently take him to the park and stuff like that, especially now that I know he's getting older. But yeah. I don't know. When I see my dog sprint dopamine machine go burr. His name is Augie. Named after St. Augustine, the Florida city. I feel like there's an interactive element here. I felt right. It was that simple. How am I supposed to... How would I do a pacifist run of this game? What kind of a challenge was that now, in hindsight? See, it's tricky. You can hit them upwards, but you have to be right next to them, which risks running into them. But I get it now. No, there's no more lost streamer. I appreciate it, Krautz Spatzel. I don't really post full music anywhere. I have a SoundCloud, but I don't update it. There used to be a funk music channel, but it's not active, and I don't run that. If I ever post stuff, you'll definitely hear about it through my Twitter, though. Alright, let's just rush back to where I need to be. I will say I've been really happy with my progress of understanding funny jazz harmonies. I'll say another thing I learned working on my last video is if you ever want to up your game, I think this is common knowledge in audio editing, but if you ever want to up your game, whether it's mixing music or mixing videos, buy some speakers. I always have this problem where I'll mix my YouTube videos audio just through my headphones, and it'll sound alright, and then I'll upload it, and then everything's too quiet. The big brain play is you mix your audio and listen to it 3 times. In your headphones, on your phone speakers, and on some decent to good speakers, like real deal ones. What I've found is if audio sounds good in studio monitors, which are just studio speakers, then it'll sound good pretty much anywhere. I'm also learning that mixing in mono is almost like cheating. It's like a cheat code for audio mixing. If something sounds good in mono, which just means things aren't moved to your left and right ear. You know, like sometimes something sounds like it's only to your left. When you mix in mono, they both sound right at the center. My last video was the first time I ever mixed in mono for a video, and I feel like it shows. I don't know why it took me so long to realize that, because like when I do music stuff I mix in mono, but I never processed that it would also apply to a video. There was some news that YouTube is rolling out a program where you can actually license music and it won't just copyright strike your entire video. Which is phenomenal to me. Especially because there are some videos I've wanted to make talking about bands, but it wasn't really practical. Because of demonetization. But there's actually a way now to like just pay $5 and you can still monetize a video. We'll miss the funk covers. I mean, trust me, I'm still gonna be doing just my own renditions of stuff when applicable. And a lot of the bands that I would want to use, honestly, probably aren't even gonna be on the music program. But it's really nice to have the option. Need another tip? I think I'm okay right now. I don't feel lost. What bands would I be interested in? I mean... Oh, wow. This is a tricky one. I've talked about it, a bit on my Patreon. I was working on a video where I talk about sort of bands that have really deep discographies of, like, demos that sound way different than the final songs. And bands that sort of sound like other bands. Bands that inspired other bands, essentially. Just really wacky rabbit holes of music. And I will say... So, an example of a band I don't think I could really use that program to avoid demonetization. The 10-year anniversary of Chumphrey was this year, during September. Sort of the first original album by Feed Me Jack. One of my favorite albums, period. And I could talk about that album for an hour. But, you know, if I played music from it, I don't imagine it would bode well for my revenue. Not that it's all about that, but it's obviously a factor. So, the creative solution is you make covers of it. Which is difficult for especially more complex bands for someone who isn't even a super practiced musician to begin with. I would love to make that kind of a video. And, you know, obviously there's plenty I could say about Weezer if I put the blade to the grindstone. I think Weezer's a bit more likely to let me use their music. Maybe I will need a hint. I feel like there's something else, like I have to break all of the holes in the ground. Damn it, I keep doing that. I don't think it's worth, trying to poke enemies up. Okay, while I'm here, if anyone knows this game, give me a hot and cold on if I should stay in the area. I should just ask, if there's any cards not in the temple, let me know. You can kill mask guys with your broom. Okay. By the way, listen to Chumphrey. Oh yeah, so, MF Doom, rest in peace, the GOAT. I guess they're doing like a memorial merchandise thing. I don't know the specifics. I would hope their family gets a fair portion of the revenue. They're doing some like Doom shirts and hoodies, and I'm conflicted because they look fucking sick. Sort of like two-tone down the middle, yellow and green shirts, red and blue. They look awesome, but they're also like $150. Like $60 for a hat. And man, that is a lot. Love Doom. I don't... It hurts that I would have to pay that much for something with his name on it. And you know, to agree with what Sleep just said in my chat, I'm worried about how much of that is just a label sort of continuing the revenue off of a deceased artist. Oh, it's a fucking Binding of Isaac thing. It's a sweet spot. Yeah, they look cool, but I don't plan on getting one. Unless it shows up in a thrift store. What's the best song on Chumphrey? I don't think there is a best, but if you mean a favorite... It's funny, I will say it's funny you pick Pirate Muse, because that was the first, like, Feed Me Jack song they ever wrote. Or at least it was, like, the first melody they came up with before the band was even a band. Damn. You know, I want to say Promiscuity. Because of the crazy weird time signature and the, whatever solo is at the end. I want to say sax. Isn't there... What's the Chumphrey song? God, I hope I... There's a clarinet solo somewhere on that album. And I fucking love clarinet. Maybe it is maybe Pyromuse is the one I'm thinking of. Jelly the Queen. Yeah. Favorite off the album is Promiscuity. Which is also an origin story for the band. The band's name, at least. I'll save the rest of my musing for the Chumfrey review video coming in another 10 years. Drunken but not on fire, I let fate walk my legs. She's not rough, but she's good enough. What's crazy about that song is it's such like a simple melody, but God, it's so fucking good. I don't need to prove it to you, but I could probably recite that whole album start to finish. Maybe I'm manager, but I don't care enough to find out who's right or wrong. God, really want to make that video now. Cold? Uh-oh. It's gotta be related to here. Whew. I wonder if I can break Roke. Rock no broke. Shaboom. This is a wacky game. Good wacky. I still don't totally understand the dust system. I just like run out sometimes. I'm starting to understand. You have to sort of pay attention to how to get into a room. Uh-oh. I feel like I have to kill both of them without leaving the room. You can only hold one and it doesn't travel per room. Ah. I will say, the only reason I really use Instagram is to keep up with Bobbing and Still Woozy's stories to see whenever they're working together. And I guess Bob Ross, and Sven Jamsky, whatever his name is, two members from Feed Me Jack, they were in the studio recently together, making some music, which had me really excited. I almost want to say Eric Clampton was there too, former drummer for Feed Me Jack. And whenever I see any of them together, I get excited. Even if it's just for, like, a wedding or something. Don't know if anything will come of it, but... fellow FMJ heads... there's some circles crossing, it looks like. Why'd they break up? It was just artistic differences. It was like a really amicable breakup, where they liked making music together, but they wanted to make different stuff. I would guess Sven wanted to make more hip-hop. Bobbing seemed to have gone more towards sort of the experimental psych neo soul jazz pop and other things. And the other band members aren't too active publicly, but I would also guess they wanted to do some other stuff. You know what's also weird? Ozma is shit posting on Twitter way more than usual. So their intern is having fun for whatever reason. Sometimes I forget that Ozma isn't broken up. Like, they're still technically together, they're just not active. Damn. I can't remember where all the portals are. Hell yeah. Thanks, punk ass. You don't like their new stuff? Ozma's? You didn't like Boomtown? To be fair, Boomtown was really rentals. It was really sort of space rock vibe. I liked it. King Gizzard? Oh. Yeah, I've been listening to whatever the fuck it's called, Ice V. Their new album that came out. It's different. It's way more like lobby King Gizzard than I expected. I don't mind. I think with King Gizzard, you have to accept that half of their shtick is that they try random stuff. And whether or not you like a particular album, it doesn't, like, define Gizzard. Oh, isn't it cute, precious little young, playing the hero? But I've witnessed every step you've taken in the land. And let me tell you, young, not everyone here is as honest as me. Be careful who you trust. Do it. Fuck. Alright, time for a no attack run. Time for a learn the movements first run. I also feel like Gizzard's been on a pretty good run. Butterfly 3001 or whatever. Loved that album. Dun 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 dun. King Gizzard's a lot like Weezer. Even if you don't like what they put out, there will be an album's worth of good songs across whatever they put out in the year. Like, they make so much that you're bound to like at least a quarter of it. I'm guessing he has a... Maybe I have to place it where I think they'll be. That way there's an opening. That'll do. I will be with you, young, whenever you are alone. And remember my advice on your little adventure. So true, bestie. Oh, Buck! Yeah. At this point, you're still weak. If you hope to protect the Briar from the darkness, you must face your fears. The card you will find in this chest, and others like it, are symbols of your growth, so acquiring them is absolutely vital to your quest. Do I know of McBase? Is this about to be a Ligma thing? No, I don't know of McBase. Is that so? Cards can be used to purchase alcoholic beverages. Oh man, that's 4 cards! Hey, that's 4 cards. Make a base. I'll make a McNote. Sensing 4 cards, the gate decides to open. Pretty simple game so far. Probably a good thing. I feel like there are a lot of these sort of RPGs that try to be so much. Ooh. Do I still play TF2? Yeah, I streamed Scream Fortress like 2 weeks ago. I'm not like entrenched in the community like I used to be. Not for any particular reason, I just, you know, been doing other stuff, but I still play it. You know what I always have in the lingering back of my mind? You know those videos by Terminal Montage? And there are probably some others where it's like speed running, but it's just a funny animation of the speed run. Sort of a dramatization of how games are played. I've always wondered why no one has cashed in on that sort of format, but with like competitive TF2. And this is kind of where it gets to the point where it's like, this is probably just something you need to have the brain to come up with. But like, back when I played, you know, Highlander, Sixes, each map had this very specific tempo of like, you know, Demo Man fucking up their rollouts, of scouts brawling above mid. Just really sort of exaggeratable things. And now and then I have this urge of like, that would be a fun source filmmaker. Like, I've never really made a full TF2 animation, but if I ever did, I would want to make sort of like a funny dramatization of competitive TF2. The problem is I haven't played competitive TF2 in like 7 years. And not that I think the game's changed that much, but if I do it, I want it to be accurate, so it would require a lot of homework. I would have to get good at 6s again. Or for the first time, depending on who you ask. Anyways, I don't really play TF2, but those ideas jump around my head sometimes. Could you repeat that, Cat? Oh, you're with me. As expected. Lazy Purple kinda did that with how it feels to play. Yeah, I see it. That's more of like a clip as opposed to the full, like, you're okay, so you're on point. That's very contextual. I guess I've wondered why no one has ever done that, but for the entire match. And you know, Lazy Purple would be the first person that I would trust to do it, honestly. Capture later, fam. For a second, I thought you meant you had to do a capture, so you're leaving. And I was gonna say, I don't blame you. I tried completing a capture recently, and I would rather have my testicles spun around 400 times than ever do it again. That's just an actual, realistic handgun. Fine morning out, isn't it? I don't know why I always go to European. My friend, a fine morning for shopping. I just wish I had a box to carry my inventory around. Ah, you have a fine eye. You need a better weapon, don't you? Blow your enemies to pieces for only $4.99.99. That money sack will allow you to accumulate money that you find in the land. It's yours for a mere $8.69. Oh, here's a specialty item. Clip-in bike shoes. So you can be speedy and stylish. $2.99. I don't have money. I don't have that kind of money or just regular money. Remember me? I forgot to introduce myself the last time. I'm Mitra, and this fine young bicycle is named Wares. So how have you been, young? What? How did I know your name? You think it's weird, eh? Well, I saw it on the back of your hoodie. See you around, young. Sometimes I'll just find totally random YouTubers, like sort of like AVGN types that just talk about videos. And I think they were called Stop Skeletons from Fighting. I didn't really have an opinion on the channel, but they were telling a story where they went... Reggie Fils-Aimé was doing sort of signings of games. Former, head of Nintendo America, for those who don't know. And this YouTuber went to him with a copy of Mother 3 and asked him to sign it, and Reggie literally wouldn't make eye contact with him. Reggie stared straight downwards, signed it, said thanks, and then hurried him out of the line. Now, I'll give Reggie some credit. Probably not the first time he's dealt with that. But it's really funny and unexpected to imagine Reggie, like, being annoyed. Like, I don't know why. It just wasn't in my vocabulary. I mean, it's not like it's not Reggie's fault they never localized Mother 3. I don't think he's the one who would have had a say in it. The sign points to the west, but the words on it are faded. FUNKe sounds exactly like Emperor Lemon. Yeah, some of you might have seen it, but 2 years ago, back when Among Us was a thing, well, back when YouTubers were playing Among Us, I was in like a YouTuber stream with a bunch of names. People with names. And one of them was Emperor Lemon, and halfway through our game of Among Us, everyone paused and said, I can't tell who's talking. Is it FUNKe or Emperor Lemon? And it happened like 5 times during the stream, where no one knew who was talking. I went back and watched the VOD, and I feel like I could tell. Maybe that's because I know my voice. I don't totally see. I think we have the same tone of speaking, but not the same mannerisms. Anyways, yeah, trust me, I know, is what I'm really getting at here. Do you think if Mother 3 actually got ported that people would buy it? I don't know, did people buy Mother 2? I think they would now. Totally. Didn't they announce something? They did... Like the last Nintendo Direct, they announced that they would port Mother 1 and 2. And I thought people were speculating that they were gonna, like... They were doing that to hype up a Mother 3 port that they would sell individually. I believe that. I think they might be considering it. Blue. I got 8. 8 cards to collect. Also, thanks for the primes. I'm a Toe and Appaboy. I'm sorry to do this, because I don't generally like to be a streamer that talks about subbing. But I will let people know I accidentally paused my patron pledges for November. I thought my video wouldn't be ready by October, but it ended up being on time. And I had preemptively paused pledges because I didn't want to, what's the word? Bill people unless I had a video out. So if you're a patron, you won't get charged this month. There's not really a way for me to retroactively turn it back on. There used to be a way, but they changed it, so now the only way I can do that is charging new patrons, which I don't want to do. Anyways, if you're someone that wants to support, you can do like a 1-month Twitch sub, and I wouldn't mind that, but I'll be fine without it. I just had a few people confused why they weren't built. Alright, end money talk. Can I sign Steam profile? Profile? I'm not really comfortable with that. If you send me a trade offer with a gift wrap, I'll sign an item. I expected this game to be more quirky, but it has a really impressive amount of restraint in it. And to be fair, it came out in 2013, so maybe it was a bit before the real indie quirky RPG craze. But immense respect. Wow, big map. Is this just a legally distinct Zelda? You know, I am picking up on the Link's Awakening vibes. I never played original Awakening, just the remake. But, based on my knowledge, it's pretty unignorable. Don't. I know Halloween's over, but if you haven't watched Wendell and Wild, it's on Netflix. It's got Key and Peele in it as characters. It's an animated, I don't really know what to compare it to. I wanted to say Tim Burton, but it's really like, if you know those old Rudolph Christmas movies, that sort of stop motion vibe. It is animated in that style, but with a bit more of its own aesthetic. It's a Halloween movie about this girl who's called a Hell Maiden trying to bring her parents back with the help of these demons. It's called Wendell and Wild. No one's been talking about it. It's really flown under the radar, but I thought it was a fantastic film. Get lost. I caught it fair and square. Okay. Seen a ton on Twitter. Ugh. I guess I never got picked up on that algorithm. It just seems like one of those games, one of those movies that everyone that sees it loves it, but not a lot of people see it. So everyone that sees it talks about it, but how much of the cost they recoup remains to be seen. I still see a few doors that I can potentially enter. Maybe not. Don't drown, don't drown! Jeez. I'm gonna have to actually scrounge up $800, aren't I? That reminds me. A lot of my animations in 3D, and I'll do 2D touch-ups, which, by the way, grease pencil, so much better than what I used to do. I used to animate in Source Filmmaker, render it, put that render into Adobe Animate, draw some of the faces above it, render that again, put it into my editing program, and then render the video. Now I can just animate and then draw over it in Blender. But anyways, I'm trying to do more 2D elements in my videos. You know, custom faces, backgrounds. And it's not super fun drawing on screen. So I looked up how much for a screen tablet. And I decided, oh, you know what, okay. I'll stick to drawing on my screenless tablet. That shit is like $800 to draw on a screen. Well, 500 to 600 for a mid-end, lower end. Basically a lot of money. Which it would be a tax write-off, and it is an investment that I plan to take at some point. But man, a lot of pressure to really utilize that investment, you know what I mean? I just wanted to get one so I can start drawing faces more. You can get a decent Wacom tablet for $50. I have tablets, but not screen ones, and I don't really like drawing while looking somewhere I'm not drawing. I don't like drawing on my table while seeing it on my screen, if that makes sense. FUNKe, I'd like to apologize for ripping off your Demonetized Again cover in a video I made in 8th grade. I mean, my cover is a cover of an actual song, so I think it sounds pretty poetic that you would do that at all. So kudos. It's like you'd say that like I have credit for Demonetized Again at all. Like it was never my creation, really. I wrote some words and changed the melody slightly. I played it in open chords instead of weird diminished ones. Or whatever the hell the original is. Oof, I'm hurting. Isn't good art theft anyways? Yeah, I mean, all art is inherently transformative. Anything you think you came up with, someone at least had a parallel idea at some point. The fun of it is being able to balance homage and changing it. Being inspired by something or being parallel to something is not the same as stealing it. I didn't expect this to have such an open world. Have you ever stolen anything, young? Well, I stole an item in Link's Awakening and nothing bad happened, so maybe I could. Icky said I shouldn't go where it's unsafe. I'll see you later, young. Oh no, my cat is gone. Nope. So when you becoming a game dev, you know, I don't know if I have the mental capacity to ever really commit to being a game dev. There's absolutely sort of a desire for knowledge in it. I've tinkered with UE4 and Unity. By tinker, I mean literally not building mechanics, but, you know, learning how to make blocks that I can walk around on. That kind of thing. And now that I'm learning Blender, I really want to pick up a game dev engine again so that I can get a bit more literate in the coding element of game design. It never hurts to have a large swath of knowledges, even if they're shallow. I can confidently say there will be a point in my life where I am hyper fixated enough that I'd make like a little game demo. That's assuming you don't count like the ball rolling around I made in Flash 10 years ago. For the time being, my experiential quest is getting better at animating and asset creation. I was always more of a front-end creator, so to speak. I like making the visual and, literary elements of content, and the coding part never came super easily to me. But I'm also someone who loves to be a jack of all trades, and I would love to be able to do some of that. I know I'm really political answering your question. I don't think I'll ever be a game dev, but I'd like to be a triple threat, you know? I want to be the guy that could be a game dev if he wanted to. I don't want to be a game dev, but I want to be able to if I wanted to. That makes sense, right? Yeah, we're on the same terms. Story of my life right there. This is, you know, while my video output hasn't been what I'd like it to be this year, this has probably been one of my most productive years in, like, just learning new stuff. Dropped Sony Vegas, dropped Source Filmmaker. You know what, I'm not gonna sit here and list the things. I will say I'm happy with what I've done. And if you're someone like me that sits on like, well, you know, I gotta learn something new, but it's not the right time, just go for it. Just give yourself like a little project, a little 1-minute project, and finish it. And by the end, you'll be a master. I still haven't released it, but I did a 1-minute animation of the TF2 Scout dancing, and that's how I learned Blender, or at least the basics of it. And I was surprised at how much just doing that one little 1-minute animation really jump-started what I thought would be super hard. Card. I will say, I have been holding off going rock climbing. I keep saying I'll do it, but I never do it. Holy shoot. What did I do? Rock. South? North? The words on the sign are faded. Me and the sign got a lot in common. I am sober, to be clear. Gotta start small with rock climbing. Begin with pebbles and work your way up to bigger things. I climbed someone's random brick wall a week ago, and it was really fun. Does that count? The humidity here is good for your skin, but bad for your hair. You know, the older I get, the more I realize how lucky it is that my Bomblo character is technically bald. Because when the day comes, I won't have to change the model to be, accurate. Be reality reflective. But just to update everyone, still a big forehead, not balding yet. Thinning, not balding. The uneven terrain is said to have been formed by the ancestors of the area's inhabitants. What was behind the brick wall? Okay, well technically, it was a difference of elevation, and at the top of the brick wall was like houses. I just climbed it from sort of the lower part of this area. So I just climbed a 15-foot brick wall and then climbed back down to not be in someone's backyard. Probably not as safe as an indoor rock wall, but equally fun. Ooh. It's a Strider. A really hairy Strider. Favorite lunch meat? Turkey? But I haven't actually had turkey in a while. Especially not like deli turkey. Get away from me. What's my favorite lunch meat? Oh, I changed my mind actually. Crocodile. You never see crocodile in a deli. Okay. F. If I went bald, would I go the extra mile and get it polished? You know, I'd probably become a hat guy, if I'm being honest. No, I think I'd own it. I'll let you know. I want to say I can own it. Something, impermanence. The impermanence of life. And my widow's peak. Not a beanie guy? Nah, I'm not really a beanie guy. Damn. Sent back. Not feeling like a game I can beat in one sitting. I mean, if I played into the AM, I could, but I'll keep going a little bit. If only I remembered which of these is close. Do you ever plan to do Sniper Bowling 2? Yeah, whenever they announce that the Saxies are returning, I'm gonna make a 5-minute short story called Sniper Bowling 2, and it's gonna be fully animated. With an ensemble cast of voice acting, Tyke included. And that's a promise. Unfortunately for you, they're not going to announce the Saxies for another 7 years. But, you can hold me to it. "2014 called, they're asking for any good torrent sites to watch anime." Legally, as per Twitch's rules, I can't say that. But I will say, there's 9 ways to find that kind of anime website that you can go to. So if you find any of those 9 ways that you can watch anime... ... Just trying to be dramatic. To go to... then I wish you luck. Just don't go to Kiss Anime. That website sucks. Chainsaw Man be schlappin'. You know, I've talked about it. I read Chainsaw... I tried to read Chainsaw Man before it got adapted, and I kind of fell off because someone's gonna rip me up for, "You don't even understand the deeper machinations of this character." Everything I read was like, oh man, if I was still 15 and horny as fuck all the time, I would love this. But since I'm three years away from finishing puberty, it actually gets a little annoying how much everything revolves around touching a titty. That's not to say it's not interesting. I've watched the 3 episodes. The action portions are great. The conflict, there are deeper parts where it's like, he thinks all he wants to do is touch a boob, but that's because he had such a shitty life, he had really low goals. I get that part. I understand that Denji is deeper than that. I just mean, it can be really hard to develop a connection with the characters when it takes so long to get past that. And so much of it really is sort of like, oh, it's teenagers with crazy powers and they're horny, but they don't realize it. It's somewhat formulaic. That's not to say I don't think Chainsaw Man is good. I do think it's good. I don't know if it's for me. But you know what? I'm a hypocrite, and I'm still gonna keep watching it. Because I couldn't read it. I couldn't keep reading it. But I do have the attention span to at least try and watch it animated. As long as every episode isn't like episode 2. It wasn't bad, it was just, you know, a lot of that. A lot of early Chainsaw Man is like when I was younger and I was like, oh man, I wonder what relationships are like. It was sort of the romanticization of what I think it would be like, but on my screen. Like everything Denji did with the red-haired girl, I would eat that shit up when I don't know what a relationship is like. And again, I know I'm probably misrepresenting the series when it gets past that. That's just... that was my impression. You should read the other author's work. What else have they made? Anything I'd recognize? I'm running in circles, by the way. That's why anime fell off for me. Yeah, you know what really grinds my gears? How much anime is based around high schoolers? How hard is it to find an anime about some person who's fucking 24 and figuring their shit out? And they're not a NEET, and that's not the whole series, that they're a NEET. I want to see a 20-something doing things. I want an anime about a 20-something that's doing shit that isn't just trying to get laid. By the way, that's why I fucking love Mushishi. Because Ginkgo is just a grown-ass dude doing a job, talking to people. And it's sick. Grand Blue. Rings a bell. About a 20-something that's mentally insane. You know, the bar is 6 feet under right now. Ain't that a loose definition of One Punch? It is. I like One Punch. I love One Punch. And, you know, I will also say there are absolutely exceptions. Mob Psycho, one of my favorite anime, period. Mob Psycho 2 is one of the few things I would even push near 10 out of 10. And that's about a kid trying to get a girlfriend in high school. Or middle school. But it's not... That's not like... That's just the circumstances, you know? That's not the defining traits of Mob. Well, they are defining traits, but they're not the only defining traits. Let's put it that way. What I love about Mob Psycho, one, it's really just a fresh breath air to have a main character that isn't or a lovable asshole. I like lovable assholes, but Mob is just actually wholesome. God, it sounds so terrible when I word it that way. He's an optimist. He's an optimist that has to deal with, actual struggles, and not in like a Naruto way. I don't think I could do it justice explaining it on the fly. Anyways, love Mob Psycho. There are exceptions to the rules. But generally, there's not a lot of anime about older people. That are good. Thoughts on Steins Gate? It's a harem in a trench coat. Cool premise. Gets a little meandery. Still don't know how I feel about the do-do-do-do girl. Part of me thinks it kind of got a little grating, but part of me gets the charm. A little cute. Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop, one of the goats for me. If you don't watch Captain Christian on YouTube, do yourself a service. One of his recent videos was talking about the parallels between Blade Runner 2045 and Cowboy Bebop. And there are a lot of really direct parallels between the two. Because I don't remember who. There's an overlap in the creators. But yeah, Love Bebop. The channel name is Captain Christian with 2 Ks. But if you just look up Blade Runner X Cowboy Bebop, you'll find him. One of my, like, YouTube inspirations, by the way. If you'd seen my video called, what was it, State of Specialists? That was basically me doing a Captain Christian impression. I'd like to think the video holds up. Admittedly, it's real. It's unabashedly me doing a Captain Christian impression, but that's just an example of how much I feel like that YouTuber inspired me. Even now, I think a reason I kind of tone down my screamy, emotional side when I record scripts is because I really like the presentation style where no one... Like, Captain Christian doesn't have to jangle keys to keep your attention. He's just such a compelling speaker that cuts straight to the point that, you want to give his video your full attention. It's not something you want to just put on the background. Which is a style I really admire. There are plenty of great, more emotive creators that I love, but undeniably that's one part of Captain Christian that I draw from, I guess. Have I tried French fries? My question for you, following my yes, is have you tried an air fryer? Because it changes the French fry game. It will change your opinion from French fries kind of suck to French fries are the climax of a meal. Nothing wets my worm quite like a soggy French fry. Instantly flaccid. Crispy fry? That's bellissimo. Air fryers have plenty of other utility, but that's really my go-to. I tried making falafel in an air fryer. It didn't work. At least maybe I did it wrong. I cut down the bushes for a living. Sometimes when you cut the bushes, you find gold. Fork. Fork. Have I watched Erased? Bro, I've read Erased. You know, the better version of Erased. I watched Erased. I made a FUNKe video on it if you really want to hear my opinion. But Erased could have been as good as Death Note. Maybe well, the anime could have been as good as Death Note if they hadn't fucked up the ending. They basically retconned, maybe not retconned, they rewrote the entire ending of Erased and condensed it down into a single episode when it was, what, an entire volume? Like, probably half a season's worth of content? And they went, fuck it. We don't have the budget for that. So let's just cut out the entire arc, skip to the end, and make it an episode long. And it ruined the Erased anime for me. It would have been one of my favorite animes if they had stuck the landing, but they didn't. And you know, there are plenty of parts of Erased that are still weird. The entire premise of a full-grown man in, like, his 13-year-old body trying to save a girl. Some of it doesn't read well, but it never goes too weird with it. It's pretty tasteful about the reasoning. I don't want to spoil anything. It's really commendable. It's well written, generally. Yeah, it's a strange premise, but it's noble. Maybe noble is the word I'm thinking of. The plot is noble when you really dissect it. And yeah, if you want my opinion, you can watch all of Erased up till the final episode, then don't watch the final episode, just read the 4th volume. And you'll have an infinitely better franchise. I feel like I need to find a way to walk on the water to progress. This is kind of where I'm getting stuck. What I'll say I love about Erased is I'm a sucker for thrillers. Any sort of mental warfare of like two characters trying to outsmart each other. I know it's a little trite, but I love it every time. I love the like, I'm 2 steps ahead of you. And I don't think anyone has really perfected it yet. I think, you know, Death Note's close. I think there are still new takes to be had on that thriller formula. And Erased is a pretty good one. I can't remember what it's called. There's an anime about an old guy and a teenager who get... So these aliens are basically drunk driving, and they crash into Earth, killing 2 people just in the middle of the forest. And they're like, oh, fuck. Well, we kind of have an obligation to fix this. So they suit these 2 humans up with, like, insane biotechnology. Now, actually, technology. Sort of. They make them cyborgs. And then they bail. They're like, fuck it. You're alive now. Have fun. And then they leave. It is called Inuyashiki. You're right. And what happens is these 2 characters, one of them is a frail old man who, you know, no one cares about, no one bats an eye at. His family doesn't really think of him. And he's about to die. Suddenly, he's reinvigorated with these cyborg powers. The other character is this sort of morally ambiguous teenager who goes from being picked on at school to sort of becoming psychopathic, you know, a serial killer who is just essentially unlocked superhuman abilities. And the entire series is, what if this really nice old man had to go toe-to-toe with this psychopathic teenager, and they both have the same powers, but they're very different people. It's a really cool pitch. They totally fucking butcher the teenager's writing. They try to write it as this teenager is like, he kills people, and he doesn't totally understand why it's wrong, but he's at least, you know, you can empathize with him because, you know, he just wants to be loved. But they don't actually make him likable in any way. And all he is a bipolar character who flip-flops from, I'm gonna be evil because I'm a fucking asshole, to, boo-hoo, woe is me. Woe is me. Like this... I'm not gonna spoil the whole series, but like, this teenager kills people, and then he decides, I'm not gonna kill people because I like a girl. Never mind, I'm gonna kill people. Could have been... Anyways, Inuyashiki, this whole thing I'm describing, it could have been one of the, you know, up there with Death Note or Erased in terms of like psychological outthink you warfare. It has some good pitches and high points, but it does not stick the landing. It doesn't even particularly run well. It really trips over its feet the whole time. I don't get why people love Death Note. At some point, it just becomes, well, I knew you knew that I knew that you knew. Yeah, I think what people like about Death Note is most of the elements they introduce early, so everything that happens isn't a Deus Ex Machina, it's just another chess piece on the board. They establish Shinigami Eyes really early, but it doesn't become a forefront until later in the series, where it becomes sort of an essential tool. The exception is, you know, some Deus Exes do happen late in the second half, but what's cool about Death Note is they lay out all of the chess pieces early, and you get to see the two main characters play the game effectively, start to finish. Unfortunately to finish. It's not the finish, you know, people wanted. And, I think if you really deconstruct Death Note, it's not totally, well, I knew that you knew. They don't just say, I knew that you knew. They explain why. I think the only time they're ever, I knew you knew, is L as a character. And it's not that L knows, it's that he's a super suspicious guy. It's not that he actually knows who Light is, it's that he's conflicted with his suspicion and wanting to like Light. Let's be honest, it's a bromance. It's a one-sided bromance. Wow, I have made no progress in like an hour. Yeah, I won't go in depth on Death Note because I'm not really the guy that can give you all the details. I'll say I liked it. Even with its second half, I liked it. Another thing I'll say, it's not always that's, you know, L magically knows what Light does. It's that Light has a built-in character flaw that he's got a fucking ego. From the start, Shinigamis love apples. That shit put Light in the grave because he couldn't fucking help himself from gloating. Which makes it compelling to me. Because every time Light loses, he basically causes it. Are you an Evangelion fan? I am. I need to rewatch it, because it still sits around a firm 7 for me. But, I like it. I'm a sucker for mechs. Even if they're... Well, yeah, no, I like mechs. I guess I'll just hop in the whirlpool again. It's not an anime, but I've been playing 7 Days to Die, and I wonder... Does anyone know if there's a game where you're in the apocalypse, but your goal isn't to kill all the zombies, it's to resurrect them into people? And don't say Minecraft villagers. I really want to play a game where you, like, you know, maybe like a JRPG, but you build a party by recruiting zombies after you resurrect them. There's so many games about killing zombies, but not that many about saving them, which I feel like would be a fun game. You want I Am Legend? I guess so. I'm not really seeing answers in chat, which tells me it doesn't really exist yet. So you're a necromancer? Kind of? Necromancer implies you're creating pawns. I mean, you actually return someone to their correct state. You unzombify them. I mean, let's be honest, if you resurrect a skeleton, the skeleton is still kind of a zombie. It's just a zombie aligned with you and your morals. Is there a game where you're a necromancer where everything you revive has free will? I know one, give me a minute. Have at it. Cult of the Lamb, sort of. I still haven't played that, but I need to. Eminence of the Shadow does something similar. MC heals girls who then work for him from an incurable illness. That's the ballpark. It sounds like there are a lot of parallel concepts to it. I'll have to make a list and check them out. Anodyne fans, let's play a game of hot and cold. Tell me if I'm anywhere close to somewhere I should be. Because if not, I might take a pause for the night. Old? Hot. Thanks. Took me way too long to realize Attack on Titan was a mech anime. It's never really clicked for some reason. Meat mech. Want an anime that's the opposite of a mech anime. It's one where the protagonist becomes tiny. I guess that's just Ant-Man. Is Ant-Man a reverse mecha anime? Reverse mecha media? I guess he can also become giant, so it's technically a mech. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Yeah, I see it. I have not played Omari. Damn, even here, pretty much totally explored. Right down. Went down too early. We are born into the decay of our mother's body. Ouch. Yeah, no kidding. I gave my mom a C-section. I didn't perform it, I'm told I didn't come out easy. Yo. I remembered, it's called Raise the Dead. It's a game kind of like Slime Rancher, except it's open world and more violent. You have my attention. Raise the Dead. Okay. Get out of here, pushy. Good thing most people, only listen to streams. Otherwise, that would have been embarrassing. You know what? I don't want to make a game in UE4. I mean, I want to, but I won't. But you know what I do want to make in UE4? I want to make a playable YouTube video. One day I'll make an entire YouTube video, but like with animations built into Blender or UE4. And then I'll just record myself playing the game. How's that for pushing the medium? Didn't Seth Bling do that in MC? I guess. I didn't mean like you just sit there and watch it played. I feel like it would be less work to just animate it in Blender and make it look like I'm playing a game, but it's too easy. Oofa boofa. Aw, man. At least I like know where I need to be now. Oh, it just sounds like the Stanley Parable. I see what you're cooking. Any languages you are/want to learn? I need to. Yeah. Japanese. Honest answer. Also, ASL, I think would be interesting. And maybe Italian. Those would be my go-tos. Some of you might have seen the clip in VR chat of some furries doing like really intense ASL. Yeah, ASL in VR chat because one of them programmed better finger tracking to the point that you could accurately sign in VR. the reason I mention furry specifically, not that it's otherwise an important detail, but have you ever heard the old adage about, what was it? The idea of, like, the idea of a plane full of furries is scary because if it crashes, it'll cripple half the tech industry. Basically, whenever something fucking awesome happens, it's usually because a furry is trying to increase their immersion. And this is just another example of that. Which I think is awesome, to be clear. Just another reason to learn ASL, because I don't know. Just another practicality to it, I suppose. Comedy, I'm not gonna tell you what your worldview should be. I will say I'm not really comfortable with having, disdain in my chat. I also just don't think it's worth your mental capacity to dislike someone for what they do in their own time. But again, I'm not gonna chastise you for it, but yeah, maybe keep it to yourself. My opinion is generally if someone's doing something for their own sense of identity and it doesn't hurt anyone else, it's really impractical to, like, discriminate against it. I don't see the practicality in it. The fight you should be fighting is classism. It's the rich people are the only identity I have a problem with. I don't care what someone does to feel better in their own skin. Alright, that's the end of my spiel. Anyways, that's why I want to learn Italian. Did my Italian go up? It actually did. It went up, I might have already said it. It went up, like, let's see, it went up 7% from 16 to 23, and then it went up another 0.3. So I'm like 24, 25% Italian now. What about suspiciously wealthy furries? Yeah, you got the right idea. You should only hate... If they're in a high enough tax bracket, there is a moral obligation. But I don't think the furry making 500k a year is your enemy. No. Billionaire might be a different story. Thanks, Swift Shot. Oh, thank you. Again with the gift wrap. Yeah, I haven't checked my 23andMe in a while. So, I don't know if I'm more Italian. You know what I will say? I always thought I couldn't grow a beard. And I still can't. But, ever since going to the gym, it's not as patchy anymore. And I'm realizing I think it was just a testosterone difference. It was just a T issue, I guess. And now that my body actually has to try sometimes, it's at a level where I can let it grow and I don't think like, oh man, I gotta cut this. Oh, It's livable. So that, like, I don't even care about my back feels better. I don't have gamer neck quite as much. There's reasons to be happy energy-wise, but the literal primary reason I'm happiest about exercising is that my facial hair is 15% less patchy. So if you ever need that little push, there it is. And if you don't want a beard, well, I don't know. Maybe there's other reasons. There's probably other benefits to working out. Do light exercise, I guess. Do I usually talk about projects you're working on? I don't talk about what I'm doing. Like, I don't talk about videos I'm working on, really, but I talk about what I'm up to. I'm pretty used to animating in Blender now, so I've been practicing shaders. And most recently I've been learning how to emulate watercolor shaders in Blender. There's a really specific style I want to pin down, and it's sort of a mix of neon with watercolor with toon shading. It's one of those things where I have an image in my head, but I don't know if there's a word for it. I'm sure there is. But I'm finally at a point where I can sort of throw it together. If you're in my Discord server, the channel art, or the server art at the top, is sort of a snippet from what I'm working on. And I find it really fun. When I first started Blender, I tried to immediately jump into shaders, and it was... nothing totally clicked. But... I kind of understand nodes now, on a basic level. Like, I understand how math works. I've used Photoshop, right? And you'll like, set layers to multiply or add or divide or whatever. But it never really sort of clicked what that was doing. I was just like, oh, the divide thing makes the dark thing apply over the light thing. And that was all I really understood of it. But when you're working with nodes, you sort of have a little blueprint laying out the order of what everything's getting plugged into. And it kind of helps visualize what you're doing. So I'm starting to understand what it means when you add a shader effect to another one. I'm understanding the difference between just putting them all in a line and having a divergence in the line that just that's... God, I don't know how to explain it. Sorry, my articulation isn't great, but there's a difference between... Fuck. This is maybe where I start to lose you. There are different orders to applying different shaders, I guess. You can apply two things at once and then mix them together, and that's different from applying them in a line where it sort of stacks on top of each other, if that makes sense. I'm learning what mixing shaders does a bit more. It's like EQs. Oh shit, you know what? I never even really applied that knowledge. Yeah, it is sort of parallel to how you would apply effects on audio, or how you would order your guitar pedals to do EQ first or last. It's a similar workflow to that. Alright. I'm not really making progress. I know where I need to be. I need to be in the whirlpool, but I forgot where it is. And I was kind of planning to end stream around 10. So I may call it here and then continue this another day. Tomorrow is a variable. I have D&D tomorrow, so I might not be able to stream. But it's pretty plausible that I continue this on Thursday and or Friday. But I do need to hop off in a moment. Again, I still haven't showered from the gym and I still haven't eaten. So this is Anodyne. I'm enjoying it. Really simple game and I want to get to the end of it. So if you're into that, keep an eye out on my next stream. If not, I'll probably find something else to play afterwards too. Am I gonna stop by Michael? Is he even live? I didn't, I know he's usually live like 20 minutes after I end, but I don't always catch him. We'll see. Yeah, I have a Discord if you want to know when I go live. I try to post events there. I also have a Twitter where I just post funny jokes. And I have a VOD channel for if you ever miss these and you want to catch them after they're live. Yeah, I will be definitely live on Friday. I might be live earlier. If I am, I'll let you know in the appropriate places. I'm also planning... I need to make a few videos to promote this, but I have a few plushies of the Bomby head that I never gave away back when I ran it, because I just sort of slept on it. But I think this week I'm gonna start actually giving away some of these, so be on the lookout. If you did manage to get one of my little bomb head plushes, an opportunity will be up. I'm gonna try and have them on all social media, so if you follow me anywhere, you'll see. And that's it. Live long, live well, recite your mantras, and don't take your thoughts after 2 a.m. too seriously. The morning mind is a bit more rational than the AM one. Alright. Be seeing ya, bye. Rare